What are we doing? What are we doing with our lives? I've been going to school my whole life. Why do I go to school? I'm not sure. People say so I can get a job. Why do I need to get a job? Is that really what I came here for? Like every single person in humanity before all the hunter gatherers, they didn't have jobs. They didn't have to work a 9 to 5. All they had to do was survive. Like, they didn't have a school system. They say the school system is for our own good, but it's not. I really believe, I'm starting to believe a lot more lately that we were born into this world with full of potential. We were so much more powerful. Like, we came into this world full power. And then the school system and society starts to whittle away at our power. And slowly but surely, we eventually are left with nothing. And so it's our job now to discover that power back. That's why I'm going so deep into spirituality, because I'm really starting to believe that there's so much more. Like, there's so much more to life. We are so much more. People, like, my whole life I've been led to believe that all I'm good for is to work a 9 to 5 job. Like, that's all I'll achieve in life. Yet I see human beings all around me achieving great results. Even the people we study in the history books achieving great results. I remember in middle school studying about John D. Rockefeller, like the richest man ever, or richest man in America. He, we studied him, and then it was, I don't really remember like the perspective we took, but I just remember him. And he definitely knew his power, because you don't just accidentally become the richest man in the world. And he's a human just like I am. He was able to become the richest man on the planet. He was able to achieve greatness. All these people around us are able to achieve greatness. All of these, like, there's a lot of podcasters that I used to listen to. They have achieved greatness. They are very successful people. And they're humans just like I am. And it just makes me think, why do I feel like I can't achieve greatness? Well, it's because of the school system. All my life I've been against like school. I never really found the purpose of it, but I never really realized that it was actually bad for me and actually managing to destroy me. And it destroyed me, it did. And now I'm fighting back and regaining my humanity. And I'm regaining all of my divine essence. I'm rediscovering it all. That's why I'm going so deep into spirituality. I'm reading 7 books right now. And one of them, called Dancing After the Music Stops, is in the introduction of the book. He is talking a lot about, he's referring back to the school system and how it's like the greatest, it's a terrible sin. And the school system basically is like a factory, and it produces machines, or it produces just components. And today at school, we actually had drills. So we had to do a fire drill, a hard lockdown drill, a shelter in place drill. And during the fire drill, I was just thinking, let's get What did I say? I said something right when the fire alarm went off, and I noticed that everyone was going out through the same exact doors. And I was like, let's get led like sheep, or let's all get herded like sheep. And then when I was going back inside the building, I was saying, this is the most sophisticated factory. Like, this is the most sophisticated factory on the planet, the American school system. It's a factory. It literally produces cogs in a machine, produces components of people. Its input is bright children, and then the output is so whittled down you can't even recognize them. I I have 70 days left until I'm done with school. 70 days. And there's a part of me where I'm thinking maybe I should just drop out right now. But then there's another part of me thinking that I desire the safety of I might as well just finish it, because that's all my parents want for me to do. And I want to continue working on this podcast, and I fear that I may not have the opportunity to do all of this stuff that I'm doing right now if I drop out. So that's why I'm just going to finish. 70 days left. And it's actually funny because by the time I finish school, I'll be on episode 150. Episode 150 will be published the day I finish school. That's assuming I stay consistent, which I will. And it's also another thing. I've been meditating, and I really feel like the Gateway experience is one of the biggest things for me exploring my divine essence and exploring spirituality and my consciousness. Because it's very useful reading about all this stuff. But like Robert Monroe said, he said, you don't know until you do it, or something like that. You don't know until you know, or I don't remember the exact quote, but I just read it in the brochure for the Monroe Institute brochure. And I'm reading all this stuff so I can have better... Honestly, this is kind of a suspicion that I came across today while I was reading my books this morning. The Gateway experience, or just meditation, me meditating and exploring all this stuff, is a way for me to actually be one with myself and actually learn of my inner, or actually experience my inner power or my divine essence. And then books kind of ignite the flame and lead me forward and actually open up brand new perspectives, because I read a few pages of all of the books so far, which are Ascent on Humanity, Tufti the Priestess, Dancing After the Music Stops, Journey Out of the Bodies, Die Wise, Come of Age, and there's one more. I forgot what that last one was. It'll come to me eventually, but I'm reading all these books, and this morning I realized that there's so much I don't know. There's so much. I was reading the intro to a lot of the books, and I didn't even understand any of it. And there's another thing that I remember from one book. I read in a book one time, and the person said the ability to read something that you don't even understand yet is a very valuable skill. Because if you just push through and read it, even though you don't understand it, eventually you will understand it. And then eventually you'll be able to read it. And honestly, I don't know what's with it, but today I have low energy. I didn't feel low energy at school, but once I got home from the gym and then I got home and I meditated, once I actually sat down to meditate, I was like very low energy. My meditation was not very deep, and I was just kind of very tired. I don't know why, and I still am a little tired, which is why I'm going to be honest. I messed up, and I've been slacking. One of the most important, or one of the biggest things that will help me move forward and become a higher quality podcaster is the one thing that I'm not doing, and it's adding rest days, adding buffer days, and having dedicated focus days. The one thing that I had to do was script out 7 episodes so I can record them all this weekend and be prepared and set up so that I can have rest days next week. And then script out and then start the loop of scripting and then preparing. And I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I simply just haven't prioritized it yet, because I definitely have the time. I could do it during my reading in the morning. I could do it any other time. I don't know why I've been using it as an excuse. And I especially have to do it soon because in 1 month, I'm going out of town for a whole week. I'm going on vacation. So this will be the longest time I'll be gone from my house since I started podcasting. So I really want to have 14 episodes scheduled by the time I leave, because I want to have that entire week resting and not podcasting at all. Because in 2 books that I read, 10X is easier than 2X, as well as Create, Don't Capture, they both said that rest is essential, and you need to actually be resting and taking long breaks from your work in order to be rejuvenated and ready to go for more. So I need to have 14 episodes scheduled, which should not be an issue because I will be doing this, scripting out 7 episodes, and then over the weekend, probably not this weekend, but next weekend or whenever, I'm going to actually be recording out these episodes. And then that will get me ahead of schedule. So then that will get me probably about 12 episodes ahead of schedule. So instead of 7 episodes scheduled, I'll have 12. And I really think that like episodes like this are more common than I want them to be. Episodes where I'm low energy. Like on these days are the days that I should be taking breaks. I should be taking rests. But since I've set myself up to where if I take a rest today, I'm going to have to do double tomorrow. And that's why I need to set up this new routine, or at least some routine that is, because I feel like the biggest issue or the biggest thing holding me back from doing this new routine is simply the fact that I'm still in school and I don't have all day, every day available. I don't get home till like 12 during school days. So that is something holding me back from doing this routine, but that means that I simply just have to rework it and do a different routine. I just have to figure out a different method or a different solution. And I finished all of let's talk about the Monroe Institute. the Gateway Experience. I finished reading all of the packets and documents that I printed out except for one, which is probably the most beneficial that I haven't read yet, but I'm going to start reading it tomorrow. It's called The 7 Resonant Colors. And it's about 150 pages long. So that will be a long one, and I'm going to start reading it tomorrow during class. But there's one thing. This may be one reason why I'm super tired for some reason. It's because today I came to this solution for school. Literally just crank out the work right away and just crank it out extremely quickly. Because then if I just finish it quickly, then I can focus on what I actually want to focus on after the fact, after I'm done. And I did that in first period, my humanities class. I just cranked out a project, and that ended up taking the entire period. So I was focused the whole period, and after that, and then in third period, because second period's gym, third period I did the same thing. I cranked out like 3 assignments that were due on Monday in Business Incubator. Oh, and I also have one thing to talk about, me and my friend Franklin's plan for Business Incubator. And then in fourth period, I cranked out a few things in like 20 minutes. So Business Incubator took the whole period, and then Sports Lit, I had probably like 20 minutes left free. So I was pretty much working all day, but that means that tomorrow I'll probably be able to rest and just read all day tomorrow. Which reminds me, I have to bring a book. I'm going to bring the 7 Resonant Colors book. And I already have it in my backpack. But the thing I was going to tell about Business Incubator. So Business Incubator is a class that I'm taking, and my friend Franklin's in the class as well. And we're both entrepreneurs. We're both working on our business. We both have podcasts. And in this class, we basically have to build a business. And yeah, just build a business. And it's a 1 year long class. And since we're both graduating early, we're only there for half of a year. And we talked to the teacher in the beginning of the year and said that we can complete the whole course in 1 semester, which I regret now because I don't care about that class anymore. It was just the novelty of the class. And I actually had a suspicion of this because I had a similar experience last year when I first started the year. I would get super excited about all my classes, and then literally after like a month or two, I would not like it anymore. And I'd just be like, oh, this sucks. Because it's just the novelty. And I kind of had a suspicion of the same thing happening, and it did for all my classes. But especially Business Incubator, because we're working on a business about building funnels for other people, and neither me or my friend are really focusing on that anymore. Because we were focusing on that in the beginning of the year a lot, but now we're not. And now we're just focused on content creation. So our plan revolves around this one rule that my teacher has. The one rule is we can drop our businesses anytime we want with no reasoning, or like we can drop our businesses anytime and start over we want, even at the end of the year. So that's a huge thing. And he also said that will not affect our grades. So that's huge because we're probably just going to stay on this business until like December, right before we have to leave, and then we'll switch. Or we'll drop it in like November or something. Or we'll basically just work on it all semester and then just drop it or something like that. So that's basically, told my friend, because we both literally just sit in the back just reading. We literally just study our own things. Like he's into reading a lot about like uh research and science stuff relating to diet, ADHD, all this stuff. And I'm into reading about spirituality. And so we're both just sitting in the back, just reading our own things, not even working on anything. Which I noticed. And so we devised that plan, and we both agreed to do that because we are not into this business at all. Let me get some water. So I want to talk about balance. Balance has actually helped me a lot. And it's been about, I think, around 2 months that I've been balancing on this medicine ball every single day for like 5 to 10 minutes, usually 7 minutes every day. And it's actually like benefited me a lot in my lifting, especially for my squat. My squat has helped a lot. And I found that I'm a lot better at ice skating, which ice skating is actually pretty fun. But I also want to talk about these neck exercises. It's basically like a neck push up, or it's basically where you lay on your back and you lift up your body with your neck. And so I've been doing that for a few months now probably. And that as well has definitely helped with everything. I was talking to my friend today about it, and I was saying like this has helped my squat go up, help all my lifts go up, because it builds your spine and it makes your spine so much stronger. But I'm just blabbering on right now about random things because I'm going to be honest, I'm just completely blank right now. These types of episodes are just really tough. And I hope that if you guys are listening to this, I want you guys to know that you will figure things out along the way. That's one of my mottos right now. Just figure it out along the way, because I'm in this situation where right now it's evident that my podcast quality is low, but then I'm also not doing anything about it. I'm not doing a single thing about it. So where does that put me? And you know what? Right after this episode, I'm going to do something about it. I don't even know what I would do. I'm going to start to map out a actual routine that I can use during the school year for the next 70 days, because I have 70 days until I finish. So I have to be doing this for 70 days. And it's not going to get any better unless I do something about it. Which I was actually talking to my dad last night about how I make a lot of changes. I was telling him about this, like that I plan on making big changes to my routine and my schedule. And he said he believes it because I've been making a lot of changes lately. And I said, yeah, because big changes produce big results. Drastic changes produce drastic results. And there's this, yesterday, I think I had this notion where I was kind of in this, throughout my self-improvement journey, there's like these phases where I make drastic progress. And then there's also phases where I make progress, but I'm just kind of dully going along. And it's evident that I'm not really making too much progress because I'm not making drastic changes. And so yesterday I realized that I was entering this new phase of drastic progress. But now I know that I'm not unless I do this, unless I restructure my schedule, because that's the biggest thing that I learned about in 10x is easier than 2x. Not necessarily the biggest thing that I learned about as importance, but it's definitely the number one thing that I got out of the book at the moment, of the number one thing that it will be the most beneficial for me to implement right now. So that's what I got. Yet I'm not doing it. It's been like 10 days. No, not 10 days. It's been like probably 5 days, and I haven't done a single thing for it. I haven't done a single thing to move towards it. And I said I would. I said that I would, and I failed. I failed at that. Let's talk about my meditation journey. So, I want to talk about my Gateway Experience journey, because I just read the Monroe Institute brochure, and in it there was a quote from a Buddhist monk who's 93 years old, who runs a Buddhist temple. And he said that he went to the Gateway Voyage program, which is basically a program where you go to the actual Monroe Institute, and it's like a 6-day retreat where you just focus on exploring your consciousness. It's basically where you go in and actually use the hemisync and meditate, and you can make a lot of progress. And so he went there, and he said that people make more progress in 1 year using the Gateway tapes than they do in 1 week. He said people make more progress in 1 week using the Gateway tapes than he did for years sitting, like literally just sitting and meditating. So basically, I'm really grateful that I've experienced. I'm like born in this part of time, because I would have had to, if I was getting into this stuff, I would have had to invested years to get to this point. Literally years, because I've only spent one month doing the Gateway tapes. And I believe that I've achieved Focus 12, but it's not very strong. I'm definitely at Focus 10. Like, I can get Focus 10 very easily now. And I actually can get it without the tapes. I haven't actually tried it, but I know that I can, because I've tried like just putting my hands to sleep in just normal waking reality, and I'm able to do it. Like, I'm able to put my hands, like, have them relax deeply when I'm just, like, even right now I can do it. I'm doing it right now with my hands. And I haven't really gotten any like benefit, or not necessarily benefit, but I haven't gotten any cool experiences yet. But I've literally only been doing it for the visualization piece. I haven't, honestly, I don't even know how to experience it yet. And that's why I added it into my affirmation. I do not hold any expectations for what will or should happen during these meditations. And during today's meditation, right before this episode, I actually spent probably like 3 minutes trying to say that one phrase, because my mind was so, like, it was so tired. Like, I did all the preparatory process just fine. And then once I got to the affirmation, I literally just repeated. I couldn't figure out how to say that I do not hold any expectations for what will or should happen to these during these meditations. I could not figure out how to say that. And that's probably evident with the quality of this episode right now. Which is another thing. I know that people don't succeed on content creation if they just post just to post, or if they just go through the motions. And it's evident that right now I'm just going through the motions because I'm obviously need a rest. I obviously need a break, and I'm obviously not like ready to record today. I'm obviously not like up to full capacity. Yet I'm just going through the motions, getting the hour done, like getting it off my checklist. When in reality, this is my entire business right now. Like, this is the foundation to everything that this is the entire foundation to my financial future. So I need to start treating it like it and actually take rest days and improve my quality and actually learn how to get better at podcasting. Because right now I'm just hoping that my quality improves over time, over repetitions. When in reality, it's repetitions under a new perspective, after a new perspective. So this is why athletes who watch game film level up so much quicker than athletes who don't, because they have this new perspective. They can see themselves after the fact. And in Create Don't Capture, he actually said that you should re-watch your videos or your content 1 week after the fact and re-watch it to see where you can improve upon and what you're doing wrong, what you're doing good, and just fix things. Because quantity, high rep, like a lot of hours can help you get better, but eventually you'll stagnate. But it's the high quality hours where you're reviewing your footage. In my case, I'm re-listening to my videos and then I'm fixing those things, because I remember over the course of this channel, there was a few times where I would actually just listen to a few seconds of the show, and I realized that there's some things that I needed to tweak. For example, there was one time where I noticed that I kept on breathing really loudly, and then I focused on fixing that the next episode, but then I forgot about it, and I didn't reinforce that at all. So I think that my breathing may still be a thing, still be an issue. But that's another thing. I feel that my episode quality is going down, and it's affecting my entire channel, because I just checked my analytics right before this episode, which I shouldn't have, because that's just dumb to check analytics right before you record, in my opinion. But I did it, and instead of my normal 6 rolling average subscribers, I only have 5 now. I lost a viewer. So I lost 1/6 of my entire viewer base, my entire audience I lost. And it's because once I got home from Funnel Hacking Live, my episode qualities were very poor. And I remember talking about that. And then once I uploaded episode 85 was pretty decent, but then this one is not good, I don't think. So people want high quality content. And that's another thing. I'm doing a bunch of TikToks. I'm recording 3 shorts every day and posting 3 shorts every day. Yet I'm not growing my podcast because, one, I probably haven't even had enough time to grow an audience on my shorts, but another reason is they're low quality. So this is showing me that I'm not investing enough time. the issue of time just shows your priorities. Because right now, I have no time in my day. My entire schedule is packed. So I don't have enough time to just sit and do nothing and think. Because I'm just always doing something. I'm go, go, go. And that shows my priorities. And one blaringly obvious thing that I could get rid of is school, which it'll be gone in 70 days. So that'll free up half of my day. But then there's an other, like that will free up like 4.5 hours of my day. But then there's other things like, I don't even know, because all the things in my day, let me just tell you my entire daily routine. So in the morning, I wake up. I'm not going to say like everything that I do in detail, but I'll just say like the important big things. So in the morning, I wake up, shower, go on a walk around the block, which is around like 7 minutes. And I wake up at 4 a.m. So then I shower and then go on a walk around the block around like 4:30. And I do my breathing exercises during that to increase my Bolt score, to make my breathing more effective on the walk. And then I cook, and then I meditate for like 35 minutes, depending on how long the tape is. It's 30 to 45 minutes. And then I balance on my medicine ball for 7 minutes, and then I eat. And then I read from like 6 until 7:20 when I leave for school. And then I go to school all day until like 12, and then I go to the gym on days that it's my gym day. And then I come home and cook, eat, and then I meditate, and then I podcast. And then I record 3 TikToks right after the podcast. And then while I'm doing all that, I edit, like use the software to automatically edit as well as post all of it. And then I do my nighttime routine, which is just brush my teeth, all that stuff. Journal, ice my balls, and then I meditate and then go to bed. That's my entire day, and it takes up the entire day. But on the weekends, I do the same thing in the morning, but instead of read from 6 to 7:20, I read from 6 until 8, and then I take a nap from 8 until like 8:30. Usually I take a 26-minute nap, but lately I've actually been taking a 26-minute nap or a 30-minute nap, and then turning off the alarm, and then like taking another nap, kind of just laying there without like an alarm on. And then after like 10-15 minutes of that, I just lay and stare at the wall and just think. And that's actually extremely good for you. And then once I'm done with that, staring at the wall, I read again. And then around 10 or 11, I cook and eat. And then I go to the gym if it's my gym day. And then I do the same thing. Like I come home from the gym and then record or meditate and then record, and then like my nighttime routine. And so on the weekends is when I actually have a lot of time. But I use a lot of that time to read, which is a good investment. I really think that reading is very like impactful for my future, as well as everything, like as well as just me growing and improving and getting better at my show or my content creation. But on the weekends, like since I don't have any time, like my ideal schedule right now is on Monday through Friday. I do all my normal morning routine, but no school. And then after my sleep and after my staring at the wall, I just right away get down to script out like 7 episodes over the course of the 5 days or so. And then once I do that, on Monday through Friday, I just follow the same routine except don't podcast or record shorts. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I don't read as much. I just read from 6 until like 7:30 or 6 until 8. And then I take a nap and then I meditate. And then I start recording like 4 episodes on Saturday and 3 episodes on Sunday, as well as the TikToks to accommodate them. Like, that's my ideal. And that's probably, as of now, and I definitely know that it'll change because 70 days is a long time, especially if you're on self-improvement. You can grow so much on 70 days and you'll have a brand new perspective. So I'll probably come up with an even more optimal routine to do once I graduate. But like right now, that's my plan. And so I created this whole plan for something that I can't even take. I think that's actually my flaw. I created this whole plan for something that I can't even take action on right now. I can't even take action on until 2 months pass. 70 whole days. Like, that's a long time. So I need to create this plan that's actionable right now. So that's what I'm going to do after this episode. I'm going to finish all my stuff and then go upstairs and literally just, actually no, I'm going to do it right here while this episode is updating or downloading. I'm going to write it down in this notebook and I'm just going to brainstorm. This is what I did while I was reading okay, wait, I actually have 2 plans. I have to create my 5 pillars because that's going to be extremely important for me me creating content and re-scripting out all the content, because your 5 pillars are basically the 5 things that you talk about on your show. And they could be different things. So I learned about this originally in Russell's books, Expert Secrets, I think it was, or Traffic Secrets, I don't remember. But I learned about that. It's basically the 5 ideas or concepts that you talk about on your show, and then you kind of cycle through them all. And so what I was thinking is self-improvement, spirituality, and then I don't even know what else to say because that's really what I'm only talking about right now. I'll figure it out after this episode, and then I also have to figure out what I did to map out the optimal plan for after I graduate, the 5 days of rest and then 2 days to record 7 episodes. I literally just wrote a box. I drew 3 boxes on the page. One was R, which is rest. One is B, which is buffer. And then one was F, which is focus. So I drew 3 squares with R, B, F inside of each of them. And then that was the key. And then I literally just drew I wrote letters MTW, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I kind of just kept on placing the different boxes to see the best, kind of experiment with the different types of schedules. And I kind of just figured out over just experimentation by drawing out different schedules. And then I stopped once I found the most optimal schedule when I'm not in school. But since I'm still in school, I think what I'm going to do instead is map out all of the time available that I have. So pretty much on days where I'm not in school, I'm 3 days on in the gym and 2 days off. So I'll map out that I have probably from 3:15 until 4:45. So I have an hour and a half on days where I go to the gym available. And then I have probably about 3 hours or 4, I think 3 or 4 hours on days where I'm not at the gym. So I'm actually going to map out all of the free time that I have over the course of like the week. I'm just going to say, like, since Monday is always a different day, like since I go 3 days on, 2 days off, it cycles, so I don't always have a rest day on Monday. Like some days it's rest day and some days it's a gym day. So I'll figure out the schedule from there. Maybe I'll create a 5-day schedule instead of a 7-day schedule, and then just cycle through from there. That's actually good. I've never really done something like this before, like create a creative schedule. I kind of just figure out my routines in my mind and then just add things over time. But this is actually a good idea to create a 5-day schedule of gym, like 3 gym days and then 2 rest days, and then just repeat. And then like my schedule will be based around the gym, since that's like the kind of non-negotiables. Even though I should just drop the gym. I should just lower my gym time. I should just go to the gym just to maintain. But I don't want to do that because that's my only exercise that I get. And over summer, I actually was in very good condition. I was in good fitness level because me and my friend were sprinting at the park every day. We would always just do sprints. And so I was like in really good shape over summer. And then since school started, we didn't have time to do it anymore. So we stopped, or at least I stopped exercising my cardio. And I can definitely feel the difference. Cardio as well as grounding. So that's also why during my slide in my visualization, I visualize myself doing like my day-to-day stuff. Like I visualize myself doing sprints, lifting, doing like swimming in the ocean, like all of these, taking cold ice baths, all these things in Hawaii where my goal takes place, my slide takes place. And so I kind of, that's part of my slide, as well as meditating on the beach, which is probably one of the things I'm looking most forward to. Meditating naked on the beach, my own private beach where no one else has access to. That's a cool experience that I want to have every day, multiple times a day. But that's like, I know that how like fitness is so important, especially for this, like especially for content creation, because that's why rest days are so valuable. And that's why maybe I'll even add in on my rest days like cardio or something to add in on my rest days for creating content. If I have free time, maybe I'll just go for a run or something like that. Because that's another thing. One of my friends texted me like on Sunday, and today is Thursday. So my friend texted me like 5 days ago, and I didn't see it until last night because I simply just hadn't have enough time to check my phone. Like imagine that. You don't have enough time to even check your phone. I used to check my phone like hundreds of times a day and be on my phone for hours every day. But I didn't even open, actually I did, that's a lie, because I opened my phone every day to record videos, but I didn't like check any texts or anything, because the way my phone is set up is I don't have any notifications on. I have do not disturb on at all times, airplane mode, powered off, and on my home screen there's nothing, there's no apps. I have to search manually. And so I don't see like any notifications that I get. So I simply just don't check. And I had a few texts yesterday when I checked my phone. Like I don't even have enough time to check my phone, which is a good thing. Like it's a good thing not to check your phone, but I don't have enough time to just sit and stare blankly or take naps. When naps are extremely valuable, because on the weekends so since I'm a part-time student, every day kind of feels like a mini weekend, because I get home at 12, and then I basically have like 20 plus hours until the next, no, probably not 20 hours. Actually, yeah, 20 hours until I have to go to school again. When before it was probably like 15 hours or 12 hours or something like that. No, it was more like 15 or 16. I don't even it doesn't matter. But I was like I used to, or right now I have all day, like the entire afternoon. Like by the time I'm done meditating, after having gone to the gym, after cooking, after eating, after meditating, school is still in session. And so it kind of feels like every single day I definitely have a long break from school, but on the weekends it's even longer because I get home on Friday around 12, around 12, yeah, around 12, and then I don't have to go to school until Monday. And so I literally have like 2.5 days. And I was actually telling my mom that I get so much progress. Like I gain so much progress and I get so much time. My weekend is so optimal because that's another thing. I was lately in my classes. So in Business Incubator, like I said earlier in this episode, I like cranked out all of my work. But I was sitting next to my friend and he was still just focusing on his stuff, like his personal work. And he still had like all of his school work to do. And I decided to crank it out because I didn't want to have to do it at home. And let me tell you why. At school, you're kind of like default is not focused. Like there's like this lingering element in the air that reduces your focus, and it kind of like it's like the most sophisticated factory that I was telling you about. It just being in that building destroys like everything. Like it just being in that building slowly tears you apart, even if you're not necessarily doing anything related to school. So that's why I choose to do my schoolwork at school instead of at home, because at home is a time where I can truly focus on my own stuff and I don't have that like baseline biting at me all the time. It's a hard concept to explain, but I'm sure people in a similar situation to I am, where they're way more aware of their bodies and more aware of like their focus and all that stuff. I'm sure that they can, like, I'm sure you guys are able to tell or at least understand what I'm saying about school. So that's why I focus on doing my work at school, because I know that like my parents only want me to have no missing assignments and have good grades. And if I have missing assignments, then that's when I have to do it at home. And I don't want to waste my time at home when I could use the time at school. That's another reason why I hate homework. Like I always say, I don't do homework because it's a waste of time. Why waste your time at home doing schoolwork when you could, like, home, your baseline focus level is normal. It's like neutral. But then at school, it like eats away at your focus just being there. So you might as well do the waste of time work, like schoolwork and homework, at school when you're already wasting away. So that's why if I had the option of doing the schoolwork or slacking off with the schoolwork and doing my own reading, I would prefer to do the schoolwork, because I know that in the future I'd have to do that schoolwork anyway, and it would end up being at home. Or I could just read at home and actually have the focus that it requires and actually be able to focus a lot more on the stuff that's actually important to me. And that's like kind of my take on schoolwork. and I'm all caught up. So tomorrow, I think that I'll be able to do absolutely nothing or I'll be able to actually read my own stuff, which if I have no schoolwork to do, I'm fine reading my own stuff, even though my focus level is not going to be as high. That's okay. I want to talk about staying awake. I realized that I have to be even more relentless because over summer, yes, I was relentless with being awake. And by the way, being awake is when when you're controlling your attention, and it is kind of your attention is like lying in between outer and the inner screen. So your outer screen is anything going on outside. So if you're watching the video, the outer screen would be the video. And then inner screen is anything going on inside your head. And actually, the outer screen, this podcast, like the audio would also be considered outer screen, I believe. But inner screen is anything that's going on inside your head. So whenever you're deep in thought, you're in the inner screen. And when you're deep into one or the other, you're asleep. But you're awake when you focus, you control your attention like in between the two, when you're focused on both the inner and the outer screen. And so that's what I learned in Tufti the Priestess, a book by Vadim Zeland about transurfing. And in that book, literally the first couple of chapters, he just points out that you need to be awake. Like he said that you need to be awake you need to wake up for 1 whole hour. And that was just like a small number that he threw out there. And I've never even achieved 1 hour straight of being awake, I don't think. And so I, like this morning on my bike ride, I decided that I was going to be awake and I was going to be relentless again at staying awake. So that's what I did. On my bike ride, I kept on reminding myself to wake up. Now, I was falling asleep a lot, but I have the habit now of calling myself to wake up a lot more now. So I would like wake up and then I'd stay awake for a few seconds and then I'd fall asleep. And then a few moments later, I'd wake up again. And then like the cycle would repeat. But then I found that just like how at school your focus level is kind of eaten away at, your like your control of your concentration is also eaten away. And I can't explain it, but when I'm at school, I'm not awake that often. I'm not awake too often at school. It's just the environment that produces the negative focus level as well as loss of attention, loss of control over your attention. And that's another thing. Your time is I've always heard your time is the most valuable resource when I was learning about financial freedom, like unscripted. People trade away their time for money when in reality time is way more valuable than money. But it's actually the most valuable resource is your attention. And so yes, people have a lot of time, but they don't have a lot of attention because they're not controlling their attention. So there's like time when you're asleep, you have no control over your attention. So you have no attention, like you're wasting your attention. So that time is wasted. It's useless. But it's not until you actually take control of your attention, then you start having like optimal time, and that's when your time is actually like valuable. So the time, like control of your attention is the most important thing maybe in life, I don't know. Like he was saying when you don't have control over your attention, you don't have control over yourself, or your soul is not your own. Like when you don't have control over your attention, like when you're asleep, your soul is not your own. So basically what using those words, the most sophisticated factory, the American school system, the education system, basically when you like it kind of forms you to lose control of your attention. And so basically you're just walking along and you're not even in control of yourself. You're not even yourself. You're just a cog and you lose your individuality, which is actually insane to think about. It's really saddening, but I'm really glad I'm going to be out of this place in 70 days. But that's the end of the episode. So to wrap things up, don't forget to download your favorite episodes and subscribe to the Ascend Momentum Show. But before you guys leave, make sure to look up at the sky.